There's a couple of protests already planned in Glasgow and Aberdeen on Saturday, but you're right. Look, Turnberry, in Ayrshire and the Many Estate can easily be cordoned off. It's been done before. You can get sporadic protests round about these places. Police Scotland are already expecting there will be some protests, but they're warning that, they're happy, obviously, to facilitate people's democratic right to protest, but anything that poses a risk to safety of the President or the public won't be tolerated.
Police in Scotland are increasing security at Donald Trump's golf courses ahead of the president's visit to the country on Friday. Trump will open a new 18-hole golf course at his resort on the North Sea coast, which he's named in honour of his mum. He'll also meet the Prime Minister unofficially, Keir Starmer. For the latest, let's bring in John Boothman, the Sunday Times political correspondent in Scotland. John, morning.
Morning, Stig.
This is becoming a bit of a headache. That's a body part I will select for saying there's an ache here. A headache for police because he's there could be protests. He's a very, very securely protected figure, but they don't necessarily know where he's going to be and when.
Look, if you look at the geography of Scotland, he's going to Turnberry in the southwest of Scotland and then to the Many Estate in the northeast of Scotland. There's a fair distance between the two. Any visit by the President, this is a semi-private one, has to be meticulously planned. I last night saw a statement from the United States Security Services thanking Police Scotland for being deeply grateful for the partnership around this visit. Think about the plan. The military's involved, the police are involved. We're bringing officers for Northern Ireland to here. The White House is involved. Downing Street's involved. Specialist officers from all over the UK. The Americans, of course, have to bring helicopters. The Beast will be here, and it's all for a 5-day visit round about two golf courses. Of course, there's some meetings in there too, not least with Starmer, the Prime Minister, and Swinney, the Scottish First Minister.
This won't cost nothing then, will it? I mean, we talk in this country about, when football clubs have massive events, maybe they should pay for their own policing. This will cost a quid or two, won't it?
Yeah, millions of pounds. I think from memory, the last state visit when he was here cost about £15 million. The last time he was in Scotland, there was figures of £5 million bandied around. We've got the Police Federation in Scotland complaining that their officers are going to be excessively worked. People working 10 days in a row, working long shifts. It's a huge operation. And as I say, the President will be playing golf, we think, at Turnberry for a couple of days, then going north, opening a golf course and having a few meetings round about.
But it's kind of important for Scotland, this, isn't it? Because things like whiskey exports, I mean, the connection between America and Scotland is pretty significant. I know from whenever I visit Scotland, if we ever go to Edinburgh or north of Edinburgh, it's full of cars, full of Americans trying to rediscover their heritage. The connection between the two countries is important, and Trump is a very emotional politician. So actually, it is in the national interest for Scotland to roll out the red carpet, isn't it? To make him feel good, because that will ultimately benefit Scotland.
I mean, what are the three things you associate with Scotland and the United States? Whiskey, salmon and golf. Yeah. Trump's big on golf. He loves coming to the homeland of his mother. Mary Ann MacLeod was born, of course, in Stornoway. It's big for Scotland. And, of course, Caroline Levitt said yesterday, the President's press secretary, that one of the things they're going to be talking to the Prime Minister about in Aberdeen when they meet over the weekend is about the trade deal that's just been broken between the two countries. Hugely important, particularly for whiskey and salmon, as you rightly point out.
And just finally, do we think protests will happen? Because it's going to be hard to get close to him on a golf course, you would imagine. There'll be massive security around those golf courses. He's not going to do any public events. Are people going to bother protesting, do you think?
There's a couple of protests already planned in Glasgow and Aberdeen on Saturday, but you're right. Look, Turnberry in Ayrshire and the Many Estate can easily be cordoned off. It's been done before. You can get sporadic protests round about these places. Police Scotland are already expecting there will be some protests, but they're warning that, they're happy, obviously, to facilitate people's democratic right to protest, but anything that poses a risk to safety of the President or the public won't be tolerated.
Interesting stuff. A great speech as ever, John. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Nick.
That's John Boothman there. He's the Sunday Times political correspondent in Scotland. I mean, protest, I mean, there's a bit of a running theme about protest in our program today. I don't quite see the point in protesting Donald Trump. I mean, he is the president. You standing around in Aberdeen with a sign might be funny. I'm sure Scottish people tend to be geniuses at writing signs. But what actually will you achieve by doing that?
Well, I guess just you're exercising your right to the freedom to do it.
Yeah, and that is part about being British,
and that
isn't
is
it?
part of being, yeah, exactly.
It is part of the nation.
I think we live in a global world. I mean, America is a huge trading partner. We can't just we have to welcome him in some way or form, regardless how we feel about his politics. So, yeah, I think he's like a big baby. You got to give him his toys to play with, and if he gets the bragging rights. He's the first U.S. president to be asked back twice in his second presidency. That's good bragging rights. I hope that appeals to his vanity, and he makes a decision about Palestine and Ukraine. We're not in a place to cut America off. We depend on them. They are our biggest, special relationship partner. So, it doesn't, irrespective of party politics, whoever is the president or the leader of the United Kingdom has to welcome the American president one way, shape or form. Whichever person the American people have decided is their representative, we have to, cozy up to him in some way, shape or form.
Fairly neutral, really. It's just part of big politics, really, isn't it? So he's always going to come, really, but not really much to say. There's more important things in the world to worry about than Trump coming here, really. It's a bit of a non-entity, a visit.
Shame on this country that we're accepting him for a second time. And as for Scotland hosting his golf courses, big shame on Scotland. I feel this way because he's a climate denier, he's telling lies about everything, and unfortunately there's a lot of people following him. It's very dangerous for all of us, not just those in the US, but us here in this country and all over the world. All the aid that he's cutting, it puts a lot of people in danger.
We're going to be meeting with the British Prime Minister, very respected, and we are going to have a meeting with him probably in Aberdeen, and we're going to do a lot of different things, and we're going to also refine the trade deal that we've made. So we'll be meeting mostly with at probably one of my properties, or maybe not, depending on what happens, but we'll be in Aberdeen in Scotland meeting with the Prime Minister. Anyway, have a good time.
Good afternoon, everyone. President Trump will travel to Scotland, where he will visit both Turnberry and Aberdeen from July 25th to July 29th. During the visit, President Trump will meet again with Prime Minister Starmer to refine the great trade deal that was brokered between the United States and the United Kingdom. And the President and the First Lady will travel to the United Kingdom for an official state visit from September 17th to September 19th later this fall. This will mark a truly unprecedented second state visit for President Trump, and he is honored and looking forward to meeting with His Majesty the King at Windsor Castle.
The Genius Act maybe as a means to get it across the line and get it on his desk.